Good afternoon. Welcome to the Tallahassee Police Department. I'm Officer Dave Northway. I'm the Public Information Officer. You've probably seen my face far too many times. We're here today for a press conference. We are here to announce Chief Michael Deleo's 5-point plan. And before we get started, though, I'd like to welcome some of our guests. I'll probably miss somebody, so if I miss somebody, I apologize. I would like to first welcome Anita Favors-Thompson, our City Manager. One of our Assistant City Managers, Dee Crumpler, is here with us. Dale Landry is here with us. Angela Hendrith from City Hall is also with us. And our City Auditor, Bert Fletcher, has stopped by to say hello as well. Thank you all for coming. Is there anybody that I'm missing? Commissioner Maddox is here too. Good afternoon, Commissioner Maddox. So without further ado, the only thing I would ask is if you could just please check your cell phones, make sure they don't start ringing. Someone will do it if we don't turn them to vibrate or off. And without further ado, I'll bring up Chief Deleo. Excuse me. Awesome. Thank you.
You know, there's always room on midnights.
Right?
Well, that's not good. See? And we're off to a good start. Thank you, Officer Northway.
You're welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for taking time out. Obviously, there's many more people here than Officer Northway just introduced, and we'll get to those introductions in a few minutes. Basically, the reason that we're all here today is that I've been here just about 6 months now, just past the 6-month mark, and obviously spent a lot of time out in the community trying to get feedback, listening to a lot of people, obviously also doing that within the department and trying to measure out the needs of the agency, the needs of the community, and trying to see where we go from here and how we make the police department a better agency for the future, and which in turn makes Tallahassee a better community for everybody who works here, lives here, people who come here to visit, and make it really the shining example that it should be as the capital city of the state. So, like I said, over the last 6 months, I've probably attended, probably well over about 100 different community meetings in different groups, going out, and like I said, for the most part for me was to come here and listen and learn. I didn't come here with a lot of preconceived notions. I do have a strong background, obviously, in law enforcement, but the idea is every community is unique. We all have unique dynamics to our community, and Tallahassee is special in its own right, and you have to understand each community before you can start making some decisions and plans, and that's what I've been trying to do for the last 6 months. So like Dave was saying, the main purpose of today is to talk about where we go from here. After this initial evaluation period is over, and we've kind of drafted a 5-step plan in conjunction with discussions with my staff, community leaders, discussions with obviously the city manager, and input from the commissioners, who are obviously the voice and representatives of the community, as well as everyone else that I've met and talked to. So the first thing, obviously, that's on everybody's mind, has been first and in the forefront for the past few months, is the violent crime. And the first step, the most important step right now that we're working on, and which you see a lot of people here for, we are establishing a community leadership council on gun violence. The purpose of this is to make sure the community is actively involved in providing ideas, solutions, and implementing plans that's going to drive down the gun crimes in Tallahassee. I think many of you have heard me talk before about we cannot arrest our way out of social issues. Yes, gun violence are crimes, but the fact is we all know that there's so many underlying social issues that have to be addressed to stop any type of crime, not just gun violence. And that's why we have reached out to many different members of the community from different perspectives to join together and start working together, soliciting information, and to start developing a long-term plan that has to be built and sustained over time. The goal of this council is going to be to identify programs and solutions as part of a comprehensive community plan. Like I said, every community is unique. There are different models throughout the country that have worked in different cities and different communities, but as we've already said, not every community is the same. The idea is we're going to evaluate different programs, and you'll see in a minute we have a very wide base of experience and perspectives, and we're going to evaluate different programs, see what we can steal, what we can tweak and implement here, and in time the idea is hopefully we're going to create the model program that works for us, and that in the future other people will look to see what they can do in their communities as an idea. The community plan is going to address different perspectives like I talked about. Social issues obviously are key, economic issues from the business perspectives, family, education, economic and criminal justice. And then once we have a plan developed, the council, part of the council's role will help implement that and see the follow through. And taking in perspectives, being mouthpiece and earpiece, realizing that not everyone's comfortable approaching government with concerns and issues, and that's why we've tried to reach out and have a very broad group of people from the community to do that and work with us, and that way we get unfiltered feedback about what we need to be doing and what's working and what's important. The next step, obviously, is this is going to take some time, and it's going to take planning, and it's got to be a long-term sustained effort. And right now, violent crime is just unacceptably high. There's no two ways around it. And this has been a concern for certainly the city manager, the mayor, and our commissioners. And we've discussed on some of the things that we want to do it. And thankfully, they've been very supportive. And if you've been watching the budget process at all, they have approved a number of positions for the police department specifically to target violent crime. And this is one part of a two-pronged approach. The city commissioners have approved the 6 additional positions to establish a violent crime response team. This unit is going to specifically target violent crime throughout the community. It's not going to be one neighborhood specific. It's not going to be one area specific. It's going to be based on crime analysis and current data trends. And if we're having one area that's having issues with armed robberies, that's where that squad's going to be working. They're not going to be a wait and see type unit. They're going to be going out where are we having problems right now, and they're going to go out and address those issues right now. And that's going to be their mission. That's the immediate now. Also, within the last 2 months, we established an additional cop squad, a community-oriented policing and problem-solving squad. That's also more commonly referred to by a lot of people as the bike squad. Their goal and their mission is to deal with long-term issues. Their mission is to work on relationships, establish trust, deal with quality of life issues, and look for long-term solutions in the community as far as working on it. So again, we're taking a two-pronged approach, dealing with the immediate aspects of crime and trying to deal with the problem as it sits, as well as working at the underlying causes from the community policing perspective. So that's the second point. The third point, that's again a little bit longer of a process, is we're going to be developing a long-term strategic plan. This is going to be developed with the input of obviously not only the people who work here, the officers and throughout the ranks, but also our civilian support staff who play a critical role in everything that we do, but also with feedback from the community. That as we start that process within the police department, we'll be reaching out to different aspects of the community again, everyone from the chamber and the nonprofits and the faith-based organizations and the schools, and that's when we start trying to forecast the needs and what do we need to be doing better to provide the best service possible. Obviously, having a plan and a structure and organization is critical in this time of limited resources, and this is an important part of what we're going to be doing. That'll take probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 to 9 months from start to finish to construct the plan, and that'll be some of the guiding principles of how we're going to focus our efforts overall across the board for the police department. The operational priorities are going to be obviously the main focus of any police department is to reduce crime, the overall crime rate in the community, and again, identify key areas to allocate our resources. And then the third component, which is critical, is organizational development and our personnel development, and making sure that our people have the right skill set, make sure that we're planning for the future, and that we are prepared for no matter what comes our way as an organization to best serve the citizens of Tallahassee. The fourth part is establishing the culture of procedural justice. Obviously, as I've gone out and done a lot of listening and heard from the community, heard from business owners, and not just that, but also talked here, obviously trust is a crucial component in any relationship. And anyone who's heard me talk has heard me time and time again say policing is about relationships. Okay? Policing is a people business. You have to be able to talk with people. More importantly, you have to be able to listen to people. And to have that kind of communication, there has to be an element of trust and respect. And that's what procedural justice is about. Procedural justice means that we address all people and give them the opportunity to explain their role in every situation, that we don't appear with preconceived notions and decisions made before we get there. Obviously, there may be safety issues or concerns with that, but once everything is calm and safe, everyone has their opportunity to explain. Everyone has their opportunity to talk about their side of the story. Everybody will have the legal principles will be based neutrally and based on fact and the investigation that stands out, not based on what we thought or what we assumed may have happened. And obviously, the critical component of procedural justice is that everyone gets treated with respect. Much of that happens every day, but that will be reinforced within our culture based on the principles from everything from the way we hire people, the way we train our new officers, and do things with promotions and internal opportunities as well. So that'll take, again, that's a long-term process, but it's a reinforcement of really the basic principles of policing. And if you talk to the officers that are here now, 99.9% of them will tell you that's how they came into the job, is to help people and want to make a difference. And I will say that 99% of them do that every day, and they go out with the right intentions. And it's just a matter of reinforcing and reminding people, and certainly training the new people as they come in, that that's an important component of what we do and the way we should be conducting business. The fifth part of this process, the fifth step in this plan, has already been talked about and covered a little bit in the press, is the independent policy review. We have to make sure that we are following national best practices, because that's what we want to be. We want to be a model agency. We don't want to be just another police department. We don't want to be, okay. We want to be the benchmark. We want to set the bar. We want other people to say, hey, we have this issue, we have this challenge, whatever we should do. We want them to say, well, we should see what Tallahassee Police Department's doing. That's the goal. The goal is excellence, not just to be content, not to be acceptable at a standard level. And to do that, we want to examine national best practices, and we've contracted with the Police Executive Research Forum out of Washington, D.C. to help us with that process. They're going to review several critical policy areas and how we train and how we implement the policies, not just to say, hey, yeah, okay, you've got a policy that looks good. They're going to look at policies, they're going to do interviews, they're going to talk to people who work here. How do we train on it? How do we reinforce it? Do we follow through with what we say we're doing? And then they're going to measure those against national best practices, and then they're going to help provide us a roadmap about what we can do better and say, yes, what you're doing is okay. It's acceptable. It meets standards. That's fine. But like I said, that's a starting point. But we want to be above that. We want to raise that bar. We want to be the benchmark for other people. Those areas that they're going to review are use of force, high-risk operations, report writing, internal affairs investigations, citizen complaint resolutions, our field training program, and then special investigations and confidential informants. Like I said, they'll look at our strengths and weaknesses in each area, and they'll make critical evaluations, and like I said, help build us a roadmap of what we can do better and how we can raise the bar. So those are the 5 steps. I know we've provided some handouts with kind of an outline there for you, but obviously I'm just one person, and there's no way that I can accomplish this alone. And I will tell you that there's almost 500 employees here that work very hard every day, and they are a crucial component of that. And they're the ones that every day that make a difference. And going out, and whether we're working in patrol, investigations, working in records or our forensics unit, all those men and women add value to this agency, add value to the department and the community. But it's also critical for me to build the right team. We had a number of retirements right before I got here and right after I got here through normal attrition, and it's taken just about 6 months now to identify and getting ready to promote and hire the vacancies to fill in my executive team. And so I'd like to take a minute. I'm proud, I'm excited, because although I keep teasing them because their lives are going to get a whole lot harder, and mine's going to get a little bit easier because I'm going to get to share some of this workload. And I'm very proud of the selections. Again, this process of selecting these 3 people that I'm going to introduce, there was community involvement. Again, I'm a big proponent, I think I made that clear, of community involvement and having some say and some input and providing feedback to the police department. And we had community involvement in the interviews. We had employees involved in the interview process. Ultimately, yes, the final choice and picks come down to me in consultation, obviously, with my bosses and their input. And I appreciate all their support and what they've done to help find the key people that I think are going to help me do a better job, because these people are not yes people by any stretch of the imagination. They're not going to have a problem telling me I'm on the wrong track, to rein me in when I need to be reined in, or to spur me on and say, no, Chief, you need to do more. And that's a critical part of, I think, any good team, is to have constructive criticism and feedback and to be able to have open and honest conversations. So with that being said, first I'd like to introduce the new Deputy Chief of Tallahassee Police Department, Deleo Forsyth. That means you have to come up, Deleo. You got to come up, that's part of it. The nice part is I don't have to stand up here alone anymore. So I got some cover now. Just a brief synopsis. Deputy Chief Forsyth has been here since 1990. So you're talking about someone who's dedicated almost his entire adult life to this agency. I've had the opportunity to get to know him and his family a little bit, and very impressed with the way he conducts himself, not just at work, but also away from work. He experienced professional. He has a very extensive experience in patrol and investigations and operations, which is a major strength as we move forward, and certainly when we start looking at things like the cop squad and a violent crime response team, it's a crucial component. He's also helped with a lot of different organizational changes over the last few years. That's not only improved our ability to fight crime, but our efficiencies.